Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown and Dunkirk, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives, to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey everybody, I'm Doc Hamels. It's Saturday, so it must be Chautauqua Sunrise. Woo! Well, I hope you're having a wonderful week. It was pretty good heat this week. We had a little bit of mugginess and a little bit of rain. And it's that time of year, isn't it? But I saw on TV today that I think it's Phoenix. They've had like 15 days in a row of 110 plus. We don't have any mudslides like down out in the west. We don't have flooding like they have in Vermont. We don't have fireflies or fire ants like they have down in Texas. Things are looking pretty good here in Chautauqua County. All right. Well, I hope you're all doing well. And I want to first say good morning to everybody around the world that's streaming with us. Hey, Natalia over in Ukraine and all my friends over there, I hope you're doing well. Glad to see your posts. I read them every day that you put out there. And, well, as always, we hope you're safe and your friends are doing well and that there's an end to this crisis soon. Okay. If you are listening to WRFA 107.9, low power to the people in Jamestown, Tuesdays at 1 o'clock, good afternoon. We are so pleased that you're able to join us here on the radio, and we have a really cool show in store for all of you. Now listen to this. How do we mix pancakes, airplanes, and Rotary all together into one big pot? Well, we're going to do that today in our show. There's the teaser, so stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, I have a few things to share with you. Oh, let's start out with this. If you are interested to call us during the show, you can do that. And you don't have to necessarily talk to me live, but if you do, you can give us a call at 716-753-5225. Why would you want to call us? Because you may have a question for my guest. You may have an announcement for your club or organization, a chicken barbecue, a fundraiser. You might have somebody that is turning a certain age that they don't want anybody else to know, but we're going to tell them. You might have an anniversary or something along those lines. And so we want to give you the opportunity, free of charge, to share all that information with the rest of the world. Okay, as I always tell you, there is so much going on here. Oh, thank you, Jeff, for that reminder. If you are watching the show later on and you say, I'm not going to talk to that guy, I'm going to email him, you can write to us at Chautauqua Sunrise. There it is again, at gmail.com. All right, so we get quite a few emails throughout the week. So Chautauqua Sunrise at gmail.com. Okay? All right, so we have a variety of announcements to share with you real quick. And what I was going to say is, if you live in Chautauqua County, if you're visiting, welcome to those at Chautauqua Institution. If you're just vacationing, Chautauqua County is just a great place to be right now. If you are bored, shame on you. You either are living under a rock or someone's locked you in a closet. There is so much going on in this county, especially in the summertime. And I'm just going to touch on a few things that are happening like right now. So if you're interested in antiques, all right, over in Westfield at Easton Hall, they have an antique show this weekend. And Justin, I went there once. They tried to slap a tag on me. I just had to keep moving because they thought I was one of their antiques. So anyways, it's a lot of fun. There's a small admission fee, but they've got a lot of cool stuff there. And usually they have like 22 different vendors. So Easton Hall this weekend. Chautauqua County Fair open from what I can tell. And that's always lots of fun, especially for kids. There's rides, shows, and so forth. And we've gone to that with our family over the years. Lots and lots of fun. Farmers markets all over the place, especially up in Westfield as we speak. There's one in Mayville. I think up north they have one. Jamestown has one. Why are you interested in that? Things like blueberries are coming in right now. You've got lots of fresh vegetables. And the farmers locally go there and they sell their produce fresh. It's not been put in coolers or shipped from some other place. Right here in Chautauqua County, we got great farmers that are providing great food for you. So please check out the farmers markets. All right. Hey, you may or may not know this. Last week I kind of messed this up because I was looking at the wrong month. But the Tarp Skunks will be playing this week, only one day. They'll be playing Tuesday, and they're going to be playing the Batavia, let me make sure I get this right, the Muck Dogs. Now, I have a connection with Batavia. I got a lot of cousins up there, so we better win that night. The crew and I are going to be the guests of the Tarp Skunks, and we're going to be in the grandstand on Tuesday, right? And so if you happen to run into us, come on over and say hi. We would love to chat with you. So that will be this Tuesday, the 18th. We're going to be watching the Tarp Skunks beat the Batavia Muck Dogs. Now, you might say, what do you mean by muck dogs? Well, muck is actually a term that refers to the soil up there in Batavia. It's so rich, it's so black, and they just grow all kinds of crops. I had a cousin that used to grow a lot of vegetables up there, onions and carrots and stuff like that, and it's just unbelievable. It's just the way the soil is there. So anyways, we're looking forward to see the Tarp Skunks this Tuesday, and we'll be there. What else is going on? Okay. Many of you know that I've started out on a new project called Oak Island Plus, and if any of you are interested in the mystery, the curse of Oak Island, one of the main theorists, Jim McQuiston, he was the #2 theorist for that program. He and I have teamed up. I've helped him write 4 of his books, and also we now have a video podcast called Oak Island Plus, and it's now on YouTube, but we also will be airing that here through the studio next week, starting July 22nd through the 28th at 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. So we would be more than happy for you to see that because we had a lot of fun producing it, and that is the 3rd episode that we've done. All right, let's see what else I have here. Also, I always do this, self-promotion. The band I'm in, the Midnight Growlers, will be playing next Saturday at the When Pigs Fly. We're talking about flying today for some reason. Anyways, from 6 to 9. So that is just one example of live music. There is probably 40 venues in Chautauqua County where there's other live music. Get out, support local musicians, theater, movies, crafters, everything is going on here in Chautauqua County. And I never have enough time to go through all of it, but I'll be sharing some things here in just a second. Okay, so I have some announcements, so hang on, and we're gonna get to them right now. Dunkirk's Fair in the Square. The city of Dunkirk will host a fair in the Square vendor market right now, today, July 15th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Washington Park. Over 30 craft, gift, and service vendors will be on site with food trucks. That's kind of a new thing, isn't it? Food trucks. They're going to be in the center of the circle of the park. Entertainment will include the Footsteps Duo starting at 11, followed by the Party McFly Band at 1 p.m. in the gazebo. Free balloon animals will be available from 11 to 2 with Rainbow the Clown. Face painting for the children will be present for a fee. A no-cost community basket raffle will also be held during the event. A secret summer word find among the vendors will be a part of the contest. Winners do not need to be present to win since the actual drawing will take place this coming Monday. So if you're watching right now and you want more information, give them a quick call at 366-9886. 366-9886. That's up in Dunkirk. Now, Lakeshore Center for the Arts. You know, I like those guys a lot. All right, I think we have a slide for that, Jeff. Those of you who have smiled knowingly at the observation that Ginger Rogers did everything Fred Astaire did, only backwards and in heels, immediately should go to lakeshorecenterforthearts.com, click on Performing Arts, and order your tickets for ANN. Performances are scheduled for Friday 21 at 7 p.m. and Saturday, July 22 at 2 and 7 p.m. This funny yet poignant one-woman show about Ann Richards, a former governor of Texas, was written by Holland Taylor, perhaps best known for her role as Evelyn Harper, mother of Charlie and Alan in the series 2.5 Men. Taylor extensively researched Richards' life and career before admiringly transforming her findings into a luscious portrait of her. Though having a liberal bent, the play is not political. However, it does remind the audience that we continue to grapple with the places for powerful women in politics and life. The play, which appeared in many venues across the country, ultimately gained a place on stage in Lincoln Center and was highlighted in PBS's venerable Masterpiece Theater. Talented and respected Buffalo actor Priscilla Young Anchor brings Ann Richards to our stage right here in Westfield area. Audiences will have no doubt why young Taylor has received a nomination for an Artie, a coveted award in the Buffalo theater scene. Please join them for this production show, and it's again on Friday 21 and July 22. There's various showings of that particular performance, and sounds really cool. Okay? Again, lots to do. If you have something to do on certain days, but you're free during the week, listen to this one. Movie Time, Mending the Line. This is going to be held on Wednesday, July 19th. So if you're busy on the weekend, you can go to the movies during the week. It's a story about finding something to make living worthwhile. John Coulter, a wounded veteran, returns to the States still carrying the demons of war, hauntingly disturbed by the everyday expectations of friendships and love interests. In Livingston, Montana, he meets Ike, a surly, headstrong fly fisherman more than twice his age, and Lucy, a talented photographer turned librarian who reads aloud to veterans, both damaged in their own way. While getting treatment for his wounds, both physical and psychological, Coulter wants to re-enlist. To have something to die for. But the real challenge is finding something to live for. Mending the Line is rated R, and it's 122 minutes long. Coming up at the Reg also is Disney's live action, The Little Mermaid, on July 21 at 7, and a sensory-friendly showing July 22nd. And, of course, Wes Anderson's new comedy, Asteroid City, is going to be held July 26th. I've seen a lot of ads for that one. Tickets are usually $7, and $1 for theater restoration is added. Keep the place up. If you're interested, go to the box office throughout the week, or give me a call at 484-7070. All right, so there's some other things in case you are still bored. Hanover Community Chamber to host the Silver Creek yard sales. Everybody loves a good yard sale. This has been going on for a long time. Here we go. Browse for bargains and support local businesses during the 31st annual Silver Creek yard sale. How old are you, Justin? 30. This is 1 year older than you. Sales run from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, August 5. Register your sale now to be included on the map. They have this little map that they give everybody so you can check out all the different sales. Registration is $10 per household. Maps will be sold at the Village Park for $2 each on the sale day. Proceeds from the Silver Creek yard sale help support the Hanover Community Chamber Scholarship Fund, which provides scholarships annually to graduating seniors of Silver Creek and Forestville high schools. You can register through the Chamber's web calendar at chautauquachamber.org. Or you can go to Hey Jude Custom Signs or Silver Creek Optical during regular hours to register. Okay, so that's coming up on August 5. Sounds like a lot of fun. Hey, August 11, still bored? Jamestown Cruise-In. It returns. This annual display of classic cars, hot rods, and cool vehicles draws a crowd celebrating its 30th year. Hey, it's the same age as you. This spectacular event features a tremendous array of awesome vehicles lining the 3rd Street and adjacent streets in downtown Jamestown from 5 to 9 p.m. Enjoy live music by the in-crowd, great music there, and support local businesses with food and beverage purchases. Vehicle registration is only $10 per car, and you can sign up online right now or pay in check upon check-in at 3rd and Spring Streets the day of the event. New this year, the Chamber will be holding a People's Choice Award, so you get to vote during the event so everyone can participate. August 11, Jamestown Cruise-In returns. And my last note is I've been working on a project with the veterans in Ripley, and as many of you know, when you go through towns and cities throughout the United States, really, you'll see a lot of banners on telephone poles and so forth, light posts, and they're honoring local veterans. They have their picture, and they might say what war they were in or what campaign and so forth. Well, Ripley VFW is doing the same thing, and they're kicking off their Hometown Heroes banner project. Right now, you're looking at a sample, okay, of what they have picked as far as the actual design, and it would say Ripley's Hometown Heroes on top, and then the person's picture, and then their name, and again, what war or campaign they were involved with. So those are listing right now. Anybody that's a Ripley veteran, the banners are 36 inches long and 18 inches wide, and you can get the application at the town clerk's office or from any VFW member of Ripley or my good friend Dave Bauer at 736-5805. Dave Bauer, 736-5805. Each banner with hardware included is $160, and the applications are going to be due in February, and they hope to have this all ready for next Memorial Day to grace the streets of my hometown of Ripley, New York. All right, I think that's all I have. You see how easy that was? You send the information, I talk, do the best I can, and share that with the world. So we're going to take a little breather. We'll be right back, and this is for you.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
And we're back. So I'm glad you stuck around because we have a lot of interesting information to share with you. I have two wonderful guests today with me today that we're going to be talking about pancakes, airplanes, and Rotary, right? Right. So right. I'm going to start with the first person next to me. We have David Tiffany, and next to him is Lou Nalbone, and we're going to talk to each one of you one at a time, and then we're going to get into the heart of the matter. Okay. So David, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. David, you're representing whom?
I'm representing the Dunkirk-Fredonia Rotary Club because a week from tomorrow, okay. July 23rd, we're restoring our old fly-in breakfast at the Dunkirk Airport, and it's going to run from 8 until noon or 8 until all the supplies are gone. And we're hoping that people will come out and support that because the money is used in the local community to support Rotary programs.
Okay, so we're going to get really deep into what the fly-in is here in a minute. So how long have you been with Rotary?
I've been with Rotary since 1987.
Whoa!
Yeah. But I was I just started a job in northern Minnesota, and my president, I was at a university, came down to my office and he says, you're going to go with me to Rotary and you're going to join. And I said, I don't know anything about Rotary. He said, that's fine. So
what was your role at that time? What were you?
Oh, I was doing fundraising and public relations for the university. That's been my career.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you joined Rotary.
Yeah, I joined it, and I've been with Rotary at each stop as I've did my career. Well, I was here from 2005 to 2015 at SUNY Fredonia, and it was a wonderful campus, a wonderful experience. And then my wife and I decided we liked Chautauqua County so much that we decided to retire here when I retired at the end of 2015. And so I'm involved with some local projects and
keeping busy.
Yeah.
And everything I said earlier is true, right? It's a great place to be.
It is. You're absolutely right.
So, I always say the elevator speech. What's Rotary to you? I mean,
Rotary to me is an organization that provides help for the community, and in our particular club, we provide funding for scholarships for students as they graduate from Dunkirk or Fredonia High School or some of the other facilities. And we also are engaged in trying to make sure that the community is strong and is meeting the challenges that it needs to meet. So Rotary is a resource for the entire community.
Oh, excellent. Now, you said you're with the Dunkirk-Fredonia. At one time they were separate, right?
That's right.
So do you know how old your club is?
Well, the Fredonia branch is right at 100 years.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. But because of the COVID, a decision was made with declining membership that we would merge Dunkirk and Fredonia, and it's worked out very nicely.
Very good. I was the area governor at the time, and I worked with a lot of you folks, and I visited your club. I know I saw you there, and I'm with the Westfield Mayville Rotary Club, and so there's Westfield Mayville, there's the Dunkirk-Fredonia, there's 2 Jamestown, and I think there's one in Faulkner.
Yeah.
I think that's it. So Rotary's around the world, and it's doing service for all kinds of folks and doing really good. And Rotary has been around since like 1904, 1905. It's been a long time. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, we'll get back to you here in a minute.
All right.
So I want to talk to Lou. Good morning, Lou, and welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Okay. Now, you're not representing Rotary today, right?
No, but I obviously have a long history with them through the fly-in, and certainly admire the Rotarians for their generosity.
Yeah. So, Lou, what do you do? I mean,
Well, I currently am co-owner of a business located at the Jamestown Airport known as Chautauqua Aircraft, where we maintain and modify aircraft, and we do aircraft sales and brokerage as well.
You build airplanes?
No, actually we repair existing airplanes, mainly production airplanes that have been made over the years, and we improve them because the airframes haven't changed that much in the last 40 years, but the tech and electronics have greatly advanced in the last, say, 10 or 15 years.
So you have a crew that if some airplane comes limping in, you fix it.
That's exactly right.
Okay. So how big is your business? How many guys?
Well, we have 12 employees.
Oh, wow.
We're looking to expand. Obviously, we're looking for very technically oriented people along the lines of aircraft maintenance and modification. So it's nothing that necessarily is. There's a tree dropping them. We have to look, and sometimes we develop people by training them ourselves.
Well, we talked earlier before the show that I was involved with Joe Minorovich, and anybody knows anything about airplanes in Chautauqua County knows Joe Minorovich. But he and I really tried hard to put together just that. I think it was called Aircraft Mechanic Program or something along those lines.
Yes.
And we had a specific title, but unfortunately I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it didn't take off. And
well, Joe's reach was very well felt throughout the county.
There was something, a spin-off. Now, who is JCC has a program?
Yes, at one time JCC had a 4-credit program, a credited program through the regents, New York State regents, for aircraft pilotship. It was a pilot program, and It ran for about 16 years.
Wow.
And the spearhead at JCC was Rick Ruprecht.
Right, right.
Somebody known
I
to
met
both
him,
of us.
yeah.
And many of those young people went on to very rewarding careers in corporate and airline service for many, many years.
You know, a lot of people live in Chautauqua County. They don't know anything about this studio. When they come here, they're amazed. And a lot of people don't even really appreciate the airports, you know, in Dunkirk and Jamestown.
I agree.
Because you always think of Erie, you think of Buffalo, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. So what kind of traffic does Jamestown have?
Well, both Jamestown and Dunkirk being, shall we say, industrial and populous bases, by the virtue of government involvement going back into the 30s and 40s, were able to have hometown airports, and they serve the communities, if not so much by airline, though Jamestown did have a history of airline service for many, many years. Certainly all the other reasons the airport exists, just for easy access for people that come to the county for either business travel, personal travel, or quite often, as we see, seasonal travel associated with all the wonderful things that you've talked about that are happening right now. So they're very valuable, the hometown airports.
You know, I've served on I don't know, I've lost track of how many different boards and committees and ad hocs and think tanks over the years. And it kind of alludes to the same thing. Is we always say, what's the biggest problem in Chautauqua County? And it's not what people think. It's travel, transportation from one end or the other. Well, that goes hand in hand with what you're saying, is if Chautauqua County wants to be vibrant, we want to invite people into our county, you're going to have airplanes.
There's no question, if you take away the airports, you'll greatly isolate this county.
Yeah.
And that is not going to help promote the county. It'll be the other effect.
It's part of what we all need to keep things moving. So anyways, well, that's great. So now we're talking about something called a fly-in breakfast. And you know, I got to tell you, the first time I heard fly-in, I go, why are we talking about insects? And then it took me a second to figure out, oh, we're not talking about insects, we're talking about something else. So Dave, tell me what the Rotary's role is on the fly-in breakfast.
The Rotary Club is the sponsor for the fly-in breakfast, which means they do all the organization. The event is Sunday, July 23rd, from 8 until noon, or if we have a big crowd, maybe we'll run out of food before we get to noon. And the proceeds, the cost of it is $10 for adults, $5 for kids.
Wait a minute. $10?
$10.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh my gosh, that's like 1990
well,
prices.
You get sausage.
All right.
You get scrambled eggs.
Eggs.
You get pancakes.
For $10.
You get coffee, either regular or decaf.
Okay.
You get milk for kids.
Yeah.
Juice. What more can you want for?
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Justin, sign up. Get your dad. Breakfast on your dad. This is nothing. So when you say kids, I always ask that question. What ages do you consider kids?
12 and under.
12 and under. That's usually what they do.
Yeah.
Because when you hit 13, they eat like 2 adults.
Yeah, that's true.
When I turned 12, I grew 5 inches one summer. It's like, woo! So anyway, all right. So we said that a lot of the proceeds will go towards scholarships. So what schools would benefit?
Dunkirk, Fredonia, the BOCES programs benefit also.
Okay.
So we're very proud of that. This last year we had an exchange student come in from Brazil.
Oh, cool.
And we're scheduled to have another one come in this coming year. It's really great for the students. In this case, it was at Fredonia. To have a chance to interact with somebody from a different country, a different culture, and everybody benefits. The student coming in benefits, and the local community benefits. So we're very supportive of that. And then a lot of the other things, we'll get requests for financial support for various things, and the proceeds from the fly-in breakfast give us the resources so we can do that. But all the money stays locally.
So this is your major fundraiser for the year?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
So how many people generally go to this thing? 50, 60 people?
In the last one we had was 2019, and then we got shut down for several years because of COVID. But at that particular time, we had 1,000 people.
Wait a minute. What?
1,000 people.
1,000 people.
Yeah.
You serve pancakes and eggs and sausage and all that?
That's right. That's right.
Holy cow. We're talking huge here. So
Yeah.
where's it held?
It's at the Dunkirk airport.
Were you like out in a hangar somewhere? Or
Yeah,
what?
we use one of the hangars, and it's one of those things. It's a chance for everybody to participate. If you want to be there about 7:30, we'll put an apron on you and sign you up to do sausage.
I'm a really good cook, but I don't get up at 7:30 because I'd have to leave at 6:30.
Yeah,
from
you
Ripley.
would. You would.
You know, years ago, the Jamestown Rotary Club wanted me to join the morning club, and I go, "Are you kidding me? They meet at 7 something in the morning." I go, "I had to get up yesterday to get there." Anyways, okay, so let's go to some history. Lou, you told me you had some really cool, interesting facts about the fly-in, and so I'm anxious, and so is Dave, because you don't know everything about this, right? This is okay. So
Well,
let's air it.
I guess you could say I was there at the beginning, though I was
Okay.
only a juvenile. The story of the Dunkirk fly-in was started by my late father, John Nalbone, and really that's his story. He grew up in Jamestown during the Depression, and all he ever wanted to do, his only passion, was to be a pilot. And of course, that was a hard thing for a Depression-era, first-generation Italian-American kid to do. But of course, the happenings in Europe and in the Pacific changed things, and there were opportunities for him to learn how to fly through a program called the Civilian Pilot Training Program. So he took advantage of that in the early 40s, and then the government said, "Well, we want you to teach flying." And he became a warrant officer and was stationed in Florida during the war years teaching Army primary. And he never wanted to leave that. But of course, when the war ended, we didn't need so many pilots in the military. So he came back to his hometown hoping to become a flight instructor at the local airport, the Jamestown Airport. There wasn't an opportunity there, but he went to Dunkirk. My mom, who he married in 1941, was from Dunkirk, and when he went to the Dunkirk airport, he had the opportunity to work for one of the flight schools that was operating there. And at that time, the country expected a big boom in pilot training. They felt that a lot of people were going to use their GI Bill to learn how to become pilots.
That's right,
and
sure.
He was a GI Bill instructor for a company for a couple of years there. And then when that company went out of business, he went to the local airmail field that wasn't being used anymore, and he revived that. It was known as the Worley Airport. It was only about a mile west of the Dunkirk Airport. But at any rate, the Dunkirk Airport was built during the World War II. It was funded by the Department of War, which is now known as the Department of Defense. And they had a strategy, and they did this throughout many communities throughout the country, of having airports away from the coast by 200 or 300 miles so they could possibly be strategically used for resupply. Fortunately, we never had that happen, but these airports ended up being salted throughout small communities, and that's how Dunkirk's paved airport, the one that they have now, became. And for a while it was used in the 40s and into the early 50s, but by maybe about 52 or 53, that airport was essentially abandoned. The city owned it. It was basically given to them by the government, but there wasn't really enough activity to keep it going, and the city really didn't have the resources to do the maintenance, and there was no one that wanted to run it. So they appointed my dad the custodian because he had a small flying school on the Grass Airport. And right around 1960 or 61, he decided to go full-time and move to the Dunkirk Airport. So they appointed him the airport manager, and he started his flying school and aircraft maintenance business there. What the Dunkirk city realized is that the airport was necessary because there were certain businesses in town that wanted to land their corporate airplanes there. And so they felt that was the best thing they could do, is have somebody there every day. And he was able to earn a living there, my dad was, and support our family. In 1962, he had a desire to do something large to put the airport on the map, so he and a group of volunteers put together and produced at their own expense the two-day Labor Day Dunkirk Air Show. It was the first air show ever held at the Dunkirk Airport.
Wow.
And that event was quite an undertaking, required a lot of volunteer power. And it turned out that the risk didn't equal the reward, or I'm sorry, the reward didn't equal the risk. That's one of those life experiences that you learn. So with that box checked, he said, well, you know, people know there's an airport here now, but we've got to go on to something that's more affordable. And flying breakfasts were not a new concept back then. Many communities had them. So in 1963, as large as the 62 air show was, the 63 event was basically something. So by word of mouth and maybe a little phone calls to different airports, he let it be known that on a certain day, a certain Sunday, there was going to be a fly-in breakfast at Dunkirk. And you mentioned food trucks. Well, that's what they had back in '63. I was 12 years old at the time, so I'm pretty dated, but that was the first fly-in. And they had it every year thereafter, and it kept growing and growing. And there was a group of people that built their own airplanes, and my dad identified with them since he was quite an aircraft builder himself. And this group was located in Buffalo, and they said, I think around 1965 or so, they said, you know, we can do this. We have a lot of volunteers and members. We can cook the food, and we'll make it an experimental aircraft association event. And then it really took off. And probably by the time the 70s, early 70s hit, they couldn't keep up. They were serving 700, 800 breakfasts, and they just didn't have the manpower to do all the airside activities, supervise the airplanes coming in, supervise the displays, and still cook all the food.
So at this point, it's a promotion of airplanes and the airport in services.
And a very big community event, very big.
But I mean, the proceeds was
going to this EAA club, and I don't know if how they used them. I don't know if it was probably more directed towards them. But that's the point. They went back to my dad and said, look, we just can't do the food anymore. And we had a relationship with the Reinigas at that time. Dan and Dave, who you know very well, were flight students of ours. He just
got a major award through the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation.
The George Weaver Footprint Award, and very deserving. And Dan, if you're watching, I hope you're having a good day, buddy. At any rate, Dan's father, Pete, who really was Mr. Rotary in Dunkirk, he said, you know, this might be a real good money-making event for us. We certainly have the manpower.
There's the connection. All right.
And when he looked at what had to be done, he went to his group and said, you know, we should take this on as one of our events. And they had another event or two in town, but the same thing, same proceeds, their charities.
And at that point, the Rotary clubs were like 200 members or 100 members. I mean, today most clubs are a lot smaller than that. So that would have been a perfect match, I would think, at that point.
Well, it really was, because not only were the resources in terms of manpower available, but then there were certain infrastructure that had to be generated to make it sustainable. So you had people in the radiator and boiler manufacturing business, provided grills. You had people in food service, provided the procurement of the food needed. And just in general, anytime the Rotarians got together, it was a great event. They had a great time. And the service, of course, was all donated. So they took that over, and it continued to grow. And I would say from an aviation standpoint, a number of airplanes coming in, it probably peaked out about 1979 or so. And at one time we counted over 300 aircraft that flew in during the morning.
What?
Yes, and it was organized mayhem.
300 airplanes.
Let's just say that not everybody enjoyed the fly-in, because
the neighbors loved that, I bet.
Well, the neighbors never complained, but certainly just organizing that was
holy cow.
There was quite a bit of, shall we say, concern that it was kept safe. And through these 60-some years, there has really never been so much as an incident.
That's awesome.
Which is speaks very well of the organization. The numbers that they reached, though, with respect to the number of breakfasts sold, peaked out around 1,800. Wow. And I wouldn't be surprised now that they're restarting that they're going to find out, because it is such a community event, that they will probably hit a much higher number than. I hope you're prepared for a little bit more than that.
So let me see if I got this straight. So you go in there, you pay your $10, you get your breakfast, and you watch airplanes come and go? Yeah. Or can you, after you eat, you go out on the field somewhere along the fence line?
Both, yeah.
Yeah, both.
Okay, so how do you get organized for this, Dave?
Well, it takes a lot of organization, and people have been working since January.
Oh boy.
And so you have to get people lined up to help with the preparation of food, and so it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort.
Now, is this just Rotarians, or do you got other organizations working with you?
Well, volunteers can come in and help us. We really benefit from folks who have a community spirit and want to help on this event.
Are there any other clubs or organizations outside of Rotary that's working with you that you want to do a shout out to or anything?
Right now, it's primarily Rotary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, for instance, our club, we work with the local Kiwanis club from time to time, or church group or something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
We have a video that was sent. So how about we sit back, relax,
Okay.
and we'll roll that film roll. Got that, Jeff, for us? So this is something that took place a few years ago, and it's on YouTube from what I understand. So whenever you're ready, Jeff.
In 2019.
600 people in line.
Roll the whole thing. Holy cow.
It seats 800, that hangar. You flip them.
Oh, welcome.
Are you having crafts this year?
Rural Ministry's going to have a lot of pies.
Oh, that would be nice.
There it is.
Benny Goodman? Great era.
Huh?
Great era.
Yeah. My parents had that music all the time. Big band. Woo! Okay. And we're back. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. I did. That was a well-produced video. They really kind of brought it all together for us. So I have some questions after watching that. So I know that you have breakfast, and you said the sausage, eggs, pancakes, and drinks and stuff like that. I saw some other tables and things like that. What were those tables for, and will you have them again?
Yeah, we're going. I know for sure that we are going to have a big collection of pies that are being provided by rural ministry, so people can come and have breakfast, then go next door and get a pie.
Pie.
That's right. And
Oh
maybe that'd be a perfect meal, you know, all the food you need for a day.
You know, I crushed my mother's feelings one day. Barb and I have been married, I don't know, maybe 20 years, and we were sitting around talking one day, and my mom made cakes all the time. And I said something about, you know, I really love pie better. And she goes, what? She never baked me a cake for my birthday again. She always brought me apple pie or something.
Oh, dear.
I really like pie a lot. So they're selling pie.
They're selling
I'm
pies.
assuming.
There may be some other vendors that will be coming in too. But the primary thing is to get the people there to have breakfast and to look at the aircraft that are available.
Now, Melanie, who's your club president,
Yeah.
Mikowski, she says something about a raffle or a drawing, Chinese auction.
Yeah, there's going to be those kind of activities.
And so how does that work?
It's one of those things. There'll be some there'll be a basket auction, as I understand it, and there'll be in 2019. I don't know whether they're doing it this year but we had a 50-50, which was very popular.
Yeah. So with the basket raffle, like some people call it Chinese auction, I don't know, they have different terms. You have a variety of baskets people donate, and then you buy tickets and you put them in a bag or something like that.
That's right.
And again, proceeds go for scholarships and other projects.
Absolutely.
I don't think people realize that behind the scenes, Rotary, all the clubs do amazing work, whether it's they're giving money to scholarships or they're out there painting gazebos for the town halls or cleaning up whatever. You know, you wouldn't believe all the crazy things I've done with Rotary. But anyways, Rotary a lot of times shores up the shortcomings for organizations that don't have the people power to get things done. So that's really great to hear that. Curtis Wright, does that ring any bell?
Oh, yeah.
My grandfather, evidently during World War II, World War II, I guess. He worked for Curtis Wright up in Buffalo, I guess, for some reason. I can't tell you what he did, but I remember that's a plane company, right?
Yeah, the Curtis factory was located on the Buffalo airport. By the way, my wife, who's here in the audience, her aunt, her father's sister, was a Rosie the Riveter for the Bell operation. She was actually in that organization that was founded after the war. But
very cool.
She riveted wings on P-39s, and then she left Bell and went to work for Curtis, working on the P-40. And the P-40 and the C-46 were both built at the Buffalo airport.
Okay, cool. Let's hold on. We have a phone call. Ready?
Okay.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Doc. Good morning, Lou. And good morning, Dave. This is Linda Spalding.
Good morning, Linda. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, great.
We're talking pancakes and airplanes. I'm awesome.
Well, you know what? I'm interested in pancakes, but I wanted to ask you, are you going to provide rides for people on the plane?
As far as I know, the rides will probably not be available due to certain changes in FAA regulations that are going to take away one of the highlights that over the many years, I'm afraid to say, Linda.
Oh, it's wonderful going up in those little airplanes. They're just so exciting. They really are. My dad used to have a Cessna. I used to love going up with him.
Your dad had a Cessna?
Yeah.
Where did you fly out of?
It was in West Seneca, the Gardenville Airport. You know where that is?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Still there, Buffalo Airfield.
Yep, we used to go there. My mother would not. She didn't want him to take me up when I was little. But he used to take me over on Sunday, and they used to have a snack bar where you could go in, a counter, and we would go in there and drink coffee, and then we would watch the planes. Yeah. And he would take me into the hangars, and it was just great.
Sounds like my story. I remember my dad flying me down as a juvenile down to the Jamestown airport and taking me upstairs in the old terminal building. I had a hamburger there at the age of 7.
Yeah. And I bet you probably can still smell that in your mind, can't you? The smells of those places,
Yes, you can. Yeah, and you know, if you encounter a smell that you have associated with it somewhere else, it brings back all those memories.
Definitely.
It's quite interesting.
You know,
well, good luck with your fundraisers. I'm going to try to get over there. I love airplanes.
I guess, Linda, every time you call, you give me another piece of your family history that I didn't know about. Flying Linda. All right, thanks for calling. Have a great weekend.
Oh, you too. Thank you, and good luck with your fundraiser. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. My brother will text me every once in a while to Clear Blue, and he'll say, Aunt Mary's house, what's the smell? And it would be dough, because we were Sicilian, remember I was telling you before the show. Or he'll say, do you remember the smell of Dad's cologne? Or you know, and all of a sudden, whoosh, that smell comes rushing back. Smell is such a strong sense, and connected to memories. So no rides this year. Randy, who you met earlier, I think he took some rides there over in the past. Okay. So the question that I have, Lou, is what kind of airplanes are they going to see if they come? I mean, is there some big deal planes coming?
Yeah, I'm not sure of any warplanes or defense-related planes. In the past, we've had Army helicopters, even up to date through the Black Hawk and Apache series. I know the airport management has tried to get something to come in on display, and rather than say something will be there, I'm just at this date, I'm not sure. But with respect to civilian aircraft, you'll see current production and historical production aircraft, and then you'll see vintage aircraft on display, and quite possibly some amateur built, or as we say, experimental aircraft.
What about those? They call them lightweights? No.
Ultralights?
Ultralights. Tell me about those things. I mean, are they safe? Every once in a while, I'll see one over Ripley, and I think I know as somebody's up there when I go like, "Oh my gosh!" I mean, I would do it. My wife would kill me, but but it's like way cool looking.
Yeah. I think there's a place for them. Quite frankly, sometimes due to the low speeds they fly out, they don't mix really well with faster aircraft. You're more likely to see them in private fields. And for many people who are aviation enthusiasts and pilots who want to keep flying it, that's really a great alternative for them.
Okay. Air balloons? No? Yes?
You may not see a balloon there, but fortunately the ballooning sport and hobby is alive and well in Chautauqua County. I'm sure you've probably seen them floating over.
Some folks.
Yeah.
One of our Rotarians years ago, Jeff Turner, I think was a balloonist, I believe. And he was real involved with ballooning, and that looks really cool too.
Oh yeah.
You know, when Linda was talking about the Cessna there, I was thinking about in one of my jobs, I was up in I don't know, the Adirondacks for a conference. It was real small. It was a think tank, and this guy had his own airplane. He said, "How about I take you guys up in the airplane?" And I'm going, "Oh my God!" I'm the guy that if I drive in the car, I have to sit up front because I'll get sick in the back. And so when I go up in the planes, I gotta take Dramamine or something. And it's not that I'm afraid; it's just my body. And so there we are going over the Adirondacks. You know, I don't know, it was a 4-seater or 5-seater, and it was so cool. But it was a pontoon plane. You know that, and when we landed, it was just like a big cushion.
Yeah.
Very
It's a great
cool
experience.
Yeah.
The thing about flying that people don't realize, they equate flying, many people who haven't flown in small aircraft, to traveling in an airline, and that body, of course, is tubular. You have a little window you can see in just limited directions, and you don't really get the full sensation of moving forward, especially at fast speed. When you do get in a small airplane and you see the panorama and see what the pilot sees, quite often that just changes your whole idea and impression about what flying is about.
It's really exciting and very scary at the same time when you realize there's only this much material between you and the outside world, and I'm going like, how is this possible? This thing is not falling apart, and it's just amazing the materials that you use, and you know, and it's so lightweight too. It's just incredible, and I have great respect for pilots after I've been up there a few times. And when we went over the Adirondacks, we were going over these little lakes, and it would, you know, when we were kids, we built these little panoramic things with mirrors, and you know, pretended it was water. Well, this is what it looked like. It looked like little fake mirrors all over the place. It was absolutely gorgeous. So I appreciated that experience a lot. Lou, do you fly? I guess I didn't ask you that question.
Sure. Yeah, I still do. I still maintain my ability to fly, and even yesterday I flew 2 different aircraft, either for testing or for repositioning aircraft. That's part of the service I provide for our customers. I will fly their aircraft before and after maintenance, and quite often pick up and deliver the aircraft to them.
I'm going to look at where your wife, is he crazy? No, he's got this. I mean, driving a car, test driving a car is one, but taking it up, coming back down. Well, good for you. That's really cool.
Too late to stop.
Too late to stop now. Yeah. Dave, do you fly at all?
No, I don't.
I don't either. Yeah. I would get lost. Who, when these airplanes come in, I mean, are they people volunteer to fly their airplanes in, or how's that work?
Well, we call it the scenario they call it is the $100 hamburger. People are willing to look for something on a nice day. And by the way, I looked at the long-range forecast, and it looks like a winter.
Yeah.
But and that's very important to get in a decent crowd of aircraft to fly in. But people look for things to do with their aircraft. We still have the greatest country and the greatest number of airports, the greatest number of private pilots and private-owned aircraft anywhere in the world. So people are still enjoying their airplanes. And on a Sunday, they will look online, or they'll go to the local airport and look at what's posted on the bulletin board traditionally, and they look for where the flying breakfast is. And this one in this area is very well known. We have seen people flying as far east as the New York City, the metropolitan area over the years. And they don't mind flying an hour or two, because the main thing is getting there. Yeah. And then, of course, once you're there, to have a great Rotary breakfast and look at other aircraft and talk to other pilots.
So like to kick the tires and look under the wings and check out the engines. And I guess just like in any other, I don't want to say sport, but field of interest, you've got motorheads, you got people that are really enthusiasts, they're historians and so forth.
Sure.
So it's a great thing, yeah.
Well, you have youngsters.
Yeah.
And they've seen pictures of airplanes, but to actually walk up to one and look at it,
oh gosh,
you know,
I don't know how many plastic.
Really,
we all probably did plastic models when we were kids of airplanes,
of course,
right?
Of course,
yeah, we still have some in our house from one of my kids. Real quick, I just want to ask you one more question, and we're going to kind of wrap things up. How about drones? You got anything about what drones are?
Well, drones are certainly a part of the landscape now. They're used in so many applications, both in law enforcement, photography, industrial usage, and even things they're projecting they're going to do with them are amazing. There are certain rules, though, that drones are not to fly very close to airports where you have regular controlled airplanes. So you won't see, if you see any drone activity, it'll be very limited on the airport.
Okay.
But away from it, that could be quite a display to have something like that.
All right. Yeah. Well, guys, we got about a minute and a half left. So going forward, do you have any other fundraisers planned with your Rotary Club that you're aware of?
This is the focus for the next several months.
Yeah.
And Sunday, the 23rd, 8 o'clock it starts. I would recommend that you try to get there around 9 because as you saw in the video, there was a heck of a line back in 2019.
Right.
So get there on time. $10, $5 for kids, sausage, scrambled eggs, pancakes, coffee, juice, milk.
And that's all to help the community projects that Rotary does throughout the year.
Absolutely, and to have a good time too.
Yeah, and our motto in Rotary is service above self, and this is all volunteers. And Lou, how about a final word from you?
Well, I'm just really pleased that the legacy, as we talked about, of this fly-in is going to continue to go on. I'm thankful for the Rotary Club and their service, and they're doing this again, and I hope this event lasts a lot longer than we do.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I mean, it's quite a legacy. And if somebody wants to join Rotary up your way, who should they contact?
Well, they could contact me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be glad to get them involved.
And where do you guys meet?
We meet on campus at SUNY Fredonia.
All right. And what day of the week?
On Thursdays.
At what time?
At noon every other Thursday.
All right. Folks, that's a wrap. I told you it's going to go fast. We covered a lot of territory in lots of years here. You've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My guests today have been Lou Nalbone and Dave Tiffany. And we've been talking airplanes, pancakes, and Rotary. So check out the pancake breakfast on July 23rd from 8 to noon. $10 for adults, $5 for kiddos. And it's going to be a great weekend according to the weatherman. That'll be a week from tomorrow. All right. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend and take care of yourselves. Bye now.